Well, hello, folks. Uh, if you see any extra motion with my hands, I've got a new light, and I don't know how it looks to you all, but it looks good to me, and it gets rid of a lot of shadows and stuff. But anyhow, I hope you're having a good day. Me, I'm fine, doing great, couldn't complain at all. If I complained, I'd be a fibbing, because I feel great. I'm going to tell you a story now that happened in Vietnam. As you know, I was in Vietnam 2 years, and I had, when I went over there, my MOS was a heavy equipment operator. And somewhere I messed up and fired expert on the weapons. And so after I was over there for about 3 months, they designated me as a sniper. Now, I wasn't no sniper, never took no training for it, but they said I fit the bill. And so I mostly done reconnaissance the first 6 months of it. And then every now and then I'd get an actual target to take out. Nothing big. I wasn't no white feather, but just done my job, and that was it. Anyhow, when we'd get attacked by the Viet Cong, my main job, whether it was day or night, was to go to a certain gun post, which I was assigned. And sometime in the monsoon season, I cannot remember the date, but all I know, it was raining cats and dogs every day, sometime or another. And so one night about just after dark, I think it was around 8:30 or 9 o'clock, maybe 9:30, they got a rocket attack and or mortar attack, whichever. That part of it was over when I got there, but we was taking about anywhere from 600 to, this is an estimate because I have no way of knowing exactly, and I don't guess anybody else did, because a lot of the rounds that they fired even missed the gun post, and they estimated about 600 rounds a minute for the first 15 minutes that we was there. Now, whether that was even close or not, I don't know. But anyhow, the boy that was in the gun post with me was from New York. He came into the Air Force on the buddy system. Him and his buddy both were there. And his buddy was somewhere else that night, don't know where, at this point of the night. But about probably 20 minutes after we got there, they brought out a soldier and put on the generator that about 30 or 40 yards away that shone up the perimeter fence in both directions. And east, we was facing, it would have been north and south in each direction where we was at. And we was parallel to Highway 1. But Highway 1 was about probably 600 meters to the west of us. We was right on the beach, only the beach was about 300 to 400 yards behind where we was at, the way we was facing. And what we was facing was about a 1,000-acre field of rice paddies. And about 300 meters out in them rice paddies, maybe 400, but no more than 400, there was about a 2-acre field of woodlands. Now, I don't know if it was palm trees. I never was over there to take a good look at them, but I'd say there probably was. Palm trees, banana trees, or whatever. It wants good moisture, because it had good moisture in the middle of that rice paddy. And what happened, the Viet Cong set up a defense offense there, and they shot mortars and machine guns and small arms for it, AK-47, when they attacked us. Now, they told me that there was rockets earlier in the night, but I don't think any rockets went off or come around to us while we was there. They might have went somewhere else on base, like a flight line or something like that, but none came to us like they were supposed to have first part of the night. And what they would do, they would keep them mortars going, and they keep the machine guns going, and their troops with the Viet Cong with the AK-47s would try to make it up and get through the perimeter. And they'd use different tactics to try to blow the perimeter base, sometimes whatever type grenade they had, and mortars and so forth. Or maybe even plastic explosives if they was lucky enough to have them. But there was a hole in the fence about 100 yards in front of us and just slightly to the left, and we had to keep eye on that hole. And that was created by one of the mortars, I guess earlier in the night or a few nights before. But anyhow, there was a hole there, never damaged the fence at all. It was strong, but you could just lean over real good and keep your legs straight. American could. Of course, the Vietnamese are a little shorter on average, but they could get under it without even getting on their knees if they wanted to. And that's probably what they was trying to make it to. But anyhow, as the night progressed, it was raining cats and dogs, and just right in the middle of the monsoon, whatever the middle is at that time, because that was my first monsoon. I didn't know exactly when it started, didn't know when it'd be over. Oh, I know it was a wet mess. It wasn't a nasty mess because it was sandy, but you stayed wet all the time because it would eventually get you wet underneath your poncho. And we had M16s with Starlight scope, and I had about, I carried around 1,500 rounds whenever I went out with the M16, and about every third or fourth round was a tracer. I load them myself, so I know that's the way they were. And I never just up and fired my M16. If I didn't have a clear shot at an individual, I didn't take one, because I was raised up believing not to waste ammunition. And I tried my best to hit something when I pulled the trigger. And so as the night progressed, like I say, they brought out a soldier and put on that generator. Now his job was to stay within 10 yards or so of that generator, 10 meters, whatever they told him. And he could go that far out from it, all the way around it, because there was a bunker in it. The lights were all above the bunkers. But he wasn't supposed to go outside that bunker radius. He was to watch that at all costs, keep that generator from being blown up. Now, if a mortar hit dead on it, nothing he could do about it. Excuse me. But if somebody got in trying to attack it, he had to take them out, and he was by himself. If we could help him, we would. But he had to be out of the way. And so as the night progressed, it rained hard, and along about 11:30 or 12, we'd have several that had got close to the fence, and we had taken them out. But along that time zone of 11:30 or 12, maybe 12:30, one of us, I don't remember which one of us, but one of us saw an individual in the fence. Well, that made both of us look through a Starlight scope. and we could only tell it was an individual hunkered down in that hole in the fence. We could not tell which way they was facing at the time because of the rain, and we could not tell if it was American or Vietnamese. And I called company command post, a number that we used when we was under attack, and the lieutenant was right on hand there whenever we called. And I called and asked for the lieutenant. I can't remember what the lieutenant's name is, but we're not going to use names anyhow because they may not want it if they're still alive. And when the lieutenant come to the radio phone, I told him, I said, we've got an individual in this hole. It's in the fence about 100 yards to our left front at about 11 o'clock. And my partner's got his scope on him now, and he can't tell where it's Vietnamese or American. And he said, well, there's no American supposed to be around that fence where that hole is. I said, well, what's your guidance? He said, shoot for effect. And I relayed the message to my buddy to shoot for effect. And he went pap, real quick and put 2 rounds right in his shoulder, midsection. And he went down instantly. There was no movement from then on from that individual. And so we had people coming up and trying to get through the hole, and other places in the fence, 2 or 3 put in mortars pretty close to it 2 or 3 times. And then there was also somebody with an explosive charge set one almost directly in front of us, but it never harmed the fence much at all, just buckled it a little bit, but it was tight to the ground. Excuse me, got a lot of congestion today. But as the night went on, we did what we could do to keep everything under control, and we did. We made it through until daybreak. And along about daybreak, Sergeant at Arms, that's the NCO that's on duty, take care of all of our needs during the night, check on us. He come around with the medics and went to pick that Vietnamese up at, or somebody, whoever it was, but we pretty sure it was a Vietnamese, at that hole in the fence. And they stayed down there and was working with him for about 30 minutes. And after they got him in the ambulance, they called up and they told us it was our guys. And it was one of our guys. And they came back up to the generator and they said, where's the boy that's supposed to be on the generator? And I said, well, I don't know. I said, we haven't seen him. I said, he was staying mostly on the left side of it, keeping his sight vision as best he could over there. And I said, you can see better from that side, but we haven't seen him most of the night. And they said, well, that individual that was in the fence was the boy we had on the generator. And he told us his name. Well, to make a long story short, it was the boy that came in with my buddy there on the buddy system. And he lost it. He had no idea. He didn't even know that was his buddy that was over there. And he didn't know that boy had went up. We neither one saw him go up to where the fence row was, because we was looking out where the lights were focused and we could see good. And that was panning the chain link fence up and down, north to south, back and forth, constantly. And we didn't worry about tracer rounds coming in from the woodlands. That's what they wanted us to worry about. but we never wasted ammo on it. You can't shoot a ball of light in the air nohow. And when you see that ball of light, it's several meters away from the starting point. And so by hearing that information, my buddy lost it, and they had to come up and take care of him, and they got another ambulance over there to take care of him. They rushed the other boy on back to the infirmary, and one of the medics stayed there with him, and they gave him a sedative, which it was a shot. I don't know, more been morphine or whatever it was, but it pretty well knocked him out. And because he was just going crazy, it just tore him up something pitiful. Because they were school buddies ever since before they started school. They was maybe a house and a half, 2 houses away from one another when they was 3 or 4 years old. And they played together and was raised up together, and they was like brothers, probably closer than brothers could be. And so that was a night that did not end well at all for us, especially my buddy, and I would not want to be in his shoes. I'm glad it wasn't me that took him out. I would have took it hard just knowing it was an American, but nothing like what he did. And they shipped him out about 3 or 4 days later. My partner that done the shooting on that one, they sent him to, I believe it was Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Now, this is all hearsay on my part. I think that's where they sent him. That's where most of us went back to recuperate if we had a bad injury or a mental problem. And I'm pretty sure his was a mental problem right at the time. But it could have been somewhere else. But I got information, I guess you'd call it down through the grapevine. I don't have nothing, not personally heard from the boy since that night. But I got information that it took him about 6 to 8 months, but he did get to where he could function, and he was give a medical discharge because it was affecting him to where he wasn't going to be able to work for quite a while, from what I understand. And hopefully God was with him all through it, because it would have took that to make it through something like that. And I hate to say it, but that's war. And there's nothing can be done about it. Those things happen. And he wasn't in the wrong. He was doing what his superiors told him and thought that he was doing right. And they thought they was doing right because they told him specifically not to leave that generator for no reason. So he messed up there, the boy that was on the generator. But he thought he was doing right. And so it all boils down to your mental thinking, and hopefully things like that don't happen anymore, because our communications wasn't the best back then. Where now they got 100% communications at all times, and radios that don't break down in a firefight. And so things are better now than what they were back then. Back then, all you had was a crank telephone, or maybe a handheld walkie-talkie that might go 600 feet, and then again it might not. It's according to how good your batteries were functioning at the time, and they didn't last long in that damp weather. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed telling it, even though it's kind of hard to bring it back to myself. Kind of hurt, gets a lump in your throat. And I don't know what happened to my buddy that was in the tower with me. I hope he got all right, but there's no way I don't even remember what his name was at this point. I do well to remember some of the boys that was in there just 25 years ago when I retired, or 30, well, it's been 30 years ago now. when I retired. I haven't saw any of them, or I knew a couple of the generals and a couple of the colonels that was with me all the time, but it don't take long to lose the names. And anyhow, y'all cipher it out for what it's worth. Just a story that happened to me. I know it don't mean a whole lot to anybody else, but it does. It does to me. It's a memory. And you all chew on that in a while, and I'll get back with you in a few days and put up another one. So y'all have a good night. God bless you, and He will if you let Him. And we'll see you on the next trip. Have a good night. Bye.